Welcome to Alignment First, where we're here to bring leaders back to their peace, presence, and power. And I'm jamming with my girl, Bailey Crawford, the founder of the Crawford Collective. We've done so much work together over the years, and you continue to do photo, video, brand stuff for me, for Next Level, and everything that I got going on. And first and foremost, I know you're super busy, so I appreciate you being here today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. This is so fun. That was a great intro. I'm gonna sound clip it and then just have that be what introduces all my calls. That'd be great.
Winning.
It's, sound words like the burr, 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 burr. I feel like you earned that with that intro. Well,
Perfect.
thank you. Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm up for whatever the conversation brings. So
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Thomas Duran, TD Films, for putting us together. Oh my God, almost 10 years ago.
Great. That's crazy.
Yeah. I feel like your career was very much in its infancy, and part of how we got connected in the first place is, he didn't have room for me, and he was like, I know who could crush it for you.
Yeah.
And made the introduction, and here we are. And the evolution of your practice, your business, your being has been so dope to observe, to coach, to guide, all of that. And I'm curious, in this season of your life, when you reflect on what we've done together and since, what has been the tipping point in your evolution? Because there's a lot of once upon a time discourse, your circles of influence weren't necessarily aligned with where you wanted to go, and there was a season where you were waiting on everybody else's quote unquote permission to step into your greatness. Mm-hmm. And when you let a lot of that go, all of a sudden these dominoes of opportunity and abundance started to fall in your favor. So what was the realization? What was going on in you that helped you take that next step?
Sure. I think I was just along for the ride, if I'm going to be honest. I was just saying yes to everything. Mm-hmm. I was never underestimating the power of one single connection. So I think that is so huge. And so that was really cool. Like every person I would meet, I'm a little chatty Cathy. I want to get to know your deepest, darkest secrets. And I think that sometimes like helps connect. Yeah, so that was cool. And I don't know if there was like a specific moment per se, but I do think it was just like never undervaluing those connections that you make with whoever. Like it could be film school, it could be a like random set, it could be like at a coffee shop, like it didn't matter. So that was fun. I do feel like for the first like 8 years of my business, I was just like doggy paddling, like, well, I'm gonna die, no breaks, I'm not sleeping. Like, I would not recommend that. So, but I do feel like with my personality, I love to stay busy. I'm like constantly finding new hobbies, blah, blah, blah. Like, how can I, change up the website? How can I, reach out and get like, see if I can work for these companies? It was never like a break in the pursuit of growth. And so, and I do attribute that probably to a lot of like ADHD, but it worked out for me. So that was really fun. But yeah, I don't think it's not necessarily like any kind of spectacular thing that no one's ever heard before, but I think really had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, I think you're one of the rare ones. And I was just having a conversation with a new client yesterday, and I was taking her through her Berkman. And one of the ahas that she had was the best case scenario that is marrying that which you're genuinely interested in and meeting your needs and expectations explicitly. And when I look at what you've built, it seems like whether it was by design or just driven by your subconscious, you've managed to pull that off.
Oh, thank you.
When you hear that, what shows up for you?
I'm very proud. I am happy that you see that. That's good. Yeah, I do feel like it was more so the just like the train was moving and then it ended up landing where it was, which is I say a beautiful divine accident. I don't know if it was. But yeah, I'm really happy about where it is now. So yeah, it makes me feel good to hear that. Thank you.
Hell yeah. What brought you to picking up a camera for the first time?
The craziest story. Okay. It's not crazy. It's boring. It's a boring story, but I'm tell it. So I actually never took a photography class or video class or anything like that. Like elementary, high school, nothing like that. A lot of my peers, they were like, I knew I wanted to be a photographer. And I was in yearbook and photography class. I'm like, those people were so lame to me. I got shit to do. I was like, I just want to be Belle in the school play. Didn't end up auditioning for any musical theater. I was just all over the place, like scatterbrained, didn't know. And I was like, okay. So I get to college and my initial degree, I went in like I feel like every other white girl. And I'm like, I want to be a marine biologist. And they're like, no, well, okay, well, what do you think that means? And I was like, observational studies. I want to study the whales. And they're like, no.
Is marine biology exclusive to white girls?
Yeah, I feel like every single white girl I talked to, they're like, that was my dream. But here's the difference between like I feel like we don't do enough research. And so we're just like, yes, I want to swim with the whales. And that was me anyways. I don't know if anyone else can relate to that, but yeah. And so I was sitting there telling this guy that, and he burst my bubble. I still remember it. And I'm like, all right, well, that guy's a dick anyways. So I changed to
how did your bubble get burst first? I want to hear about that conversation.
Yeah, he's like, okay, so you probably won't be swimming around like researching whales and like large mammals. You'll like realistically you're probably going to be studying like some kind of kelp like in a lab for months, and that's what it is. Like more of the biology, obviously it's in the title, but I was like, no, I've got it all figured out, Mark. Okay, you don't understand.
You were more likely to watch the coral die than you will
so heartbreaking, which
the mating habits of
it breaks my
Mako
heart.
sharks in the Caribbean.
I know. So now I'm like, now I'll just shark dive for fun. So that's cool. We can still do that. But so yeah, it pivoted. And then I was like, okay, I'll go into poli-sci. So I was a political science major for the first 2 years of college with a minor in women's gender studies. Really fun, really cool.
Okay. Okay. I want to peek behind the curtain here because these are the kind of things that fascinate me.
Okay.
I'm genuinely curious about what goes on in curriculums like that. What does one learn, or what is the intention behind a program like women's gender studies?
Yeah, that was wild. I feel like, and I was also taking that class. I feel like it's important to note I took part of my studies in the US, but part was in Europe. So very different even in those.
Hell yeah. There's all kinds of cultural implications there for sure. Okay.
So that was very, very interesting. To me, it was really just learning about how like the LGBTQ culture operates, specific like names and titles and XYZ, and a lot of different scientific studies that go with that. Tons of that stuff. So it was a lot of that. I had no clue where I was going with any of that. But I thought it was a really interesting major. So I just kind of hung out with that for a while. And then the political science side of it was obviously politics. Like you're learning a lot about government, you're learning about politics, all of that different stuff. So that was really cool. I did not stay in that, obviously. So it was fun for me to just dip my toes in and then meander onto something new.
What happened after that?
After that, I got gifted a bright red Canon Rebel camera by my grandmother. and my first laptop. And I was in college at the time. And just to put things into perspective, like how this like ADHD brain works, I was full-time enrolled in university. And I also had 3 jobs. I was like coaching a cheer team. I was like doing another job in town. I can't remember what it was. And then I was also like driving back and forth on the weekends to waitress in a town that was an hour and a half away.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And so it was crazy. So and I had to keep up my scholarship because I got a full ride on academics to this university. And so I ended up losing my scholarship because I got a C. And so that kind of sucked. But after that, I was like, okay, that's fine. You know, God's got other plans. I'm pivoting. And so I ended up, I was gifted this camera. So that kind of like tells you where I was at when this camera was gifted to me. And so I had a friend at the time, him and I would record and make music together. And so we'd like play guitar, blah, blah, blah. And so I started like filming us doing that with this camera, no clue what I was doing. I was like, everything looks like dog shit. I don't know, but it's working, I guess. And so I was just filming for fun. And then sadly, a couple of, I would say like 2 years after that, he passed away. And so I just had all of this footage of him, like, and he wasn't really into like, social media wasn't super huge at the time, you know, so a lot of like his family, his friends and stuff, they didn't have a lot of footage of him. So I had the footage of him laughing, the footage of him like, you know, like singing and playing a musical instrument. It was just, and I remember his family like reached out to me and they were like, thank you for letting us hear him laugh one more time. And I think it was then that I realized like how powerful it can be, you know, and so that really sparked my videography journey. And then
so it was less a genuine interest and more so what this thing is capable of for other people.
100%. I didn't care about photography at all.
And you're like in this moment recognizing that this is a tool that has a high function if you just spent some time with it.
Yeah.
But it's still doesn't sound like it was a calling yet.
Right.
So here's what's interesting, you know, and you've been through this process. So for everybody that doesn't know, when I take somebody through an alignment assessment, one of the first things that we do is identify what you're genuinely interested in. These are your primary motivators. And what's interesting about your interests is they don't have anything to do with your experience, your education, or your talent, right? When you do the things that you're interested in, it doesn't matter how steep the learning curve is, it tends to be the places that you find flow. And the challenge of that thing that is driven by interest makes the practice worthwhile. So when we piggyback this moment you're having like in real time, the impact on this family for your friend, is that like a light bulb? Because you're not doing this to make it a career yet.
Right.
You haven't connected the dollars to this camera. Right. And you know, like I know, careful about turning your passions into your profession.
100%. Yeah.
So keep going with this manifestation of how we're getting there. This is fucking awesome.
I think we're traveling on this journey together because I don't even know the answer of when it clicked. I'm like, we'll find out today. I'm not sure. But at this point, I was still like, no money or any talks of, you know, income I was too bad for all of that. So that wasn't in the cards. I think I wanted to, it became a new a new just hobby of like, I would like to master this. So I think, you know, throughout life we get interested, and there are some people who I call them, it's not PC, but I call them the TISM hobbies. I feel like if you're on the spectrum a little bit, you know, maybe you can identify with that. I don't know. But you know, you have like a new hobby and you really like want to master it and you're kind of obsessed with it, and then you kind of move on to a different hobby. And so yeah, I think that maybe was what this was for a while, but yeah, that partnered, because the technical side of it, there's so much of a technical side that I really nerded out about, and I loved learning like the numbers and the fractions and how everything works and how you move this and then this is impacted, and so that the technical side definitely, and then slowly seeing, I think it was more I was irritated that I couldn't make the camera do what I wanted it to do. So I was like, I need to figure this out. And so that paired with obviously the tremendous, you know, emotional impact that comment had on me. I think both of those probably like sent it, but it wasn't until a lot later that I ended up people just started paying me. I didn't ask them to pay me. They just started paying me.
If that's not confirmation.
I didn't go into this industry thinking it was going to be a business at all. So yeah, I think, once people started paying me, I was like, oh, maybe I can maybe this could be a little side hustle. Yeah.
And now it is your main thing.
Yeah, it's my main thing. I was working at, go ahead.
Well, no, go ahead. You were working at what?
I was just saying, I was working at USAA, like the insurance company for the military. And I think you and I have briefly talked about that. I was 19 at the time. And this was, you know, shortly after, maybe I was 19 to 21. And then it was shortly after my friend had passed away. And so another friend of mine was like, hey, you have a camera. They are flying in all of these people from San Antonio, and we're based in Phoenix. And so they're flying anytime they needed any kind of media whatsoever. We're flying them in. And I think I just really wanted to get off the phones because it was a call center. And I was like,
did you get tired of thanking us for our service?
100%. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I loved talking to you guys, but I think the call center environment, Michael, just put yourself in my shoes. 10 hours.
I love how you're backpedaling on the nobility of this shit.
Listen, she said schism and she hates the military. She cancel her. Don't use it. It's just going to be, when this comes out, it's just going to be this sound bites of everything that could absolutely get me canceled. That's cool.
She plays D&D and she fantasizes about Scientology.
Yeah, the Scientology. I do not fantasize about Scientology.
I could not resist. I had to work that in.
No, that's great. Can't wait for the snippets.
Yeah. So we got to get you out of a call center. What happened?
Yeah. So the call center was bad. It was 10 hours, like back-to-back calls. So I was like, yes, I have a camera. We should open a media like team here so they don't have to keep flying people in from San Antonio. And so
cost savings, I like it.
Yeah. So that I'm like, it was so easy to pitch. I'm like, it will save you money. You don't have to pay me any extra. I'm already on payroll. Just take me off the phone. Well, bam, bam. And then I'll just this role instead of this role. And they were like, yeah, duh. And so
nice.
Yeah. And then me and my other friend, Jared, opened the media team in the Phoenix branch. So that we had no business doing that. I still didn't know what Kelvin was at the time. Everything was blue and I didn't know why, which if you know anything about cameras, yeah. So had no business, but I did it.
I fucking love this because it's in your blood. Daughter of Marines.
Yeah.
Wife of a Marine. Is he going to drop that title now that he's playing war games in another uniform?
I don't think so.
That boy. Good.
I don't think so.
Once and always, God damn it. Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody said that to him the other day. They're like, you were a Marine. He goes, were?
Yes.
Was even though he's Army now. Yeah. So I don't.
Okay.
I think you're
Cool.
safe. You got
Love
the
it. Love it. We can still be friends.
Yeah.
No, I was what I'm laughing about is the energy of like I had no business doing this shit, and here I am. Okay.
My entire career.
I guess we'll figure it out.
Whole career.
I was sitting, and why I'm saying it's in your blood. I was sitting at a table having cigars with a bunch of Marines literally last night.
Nice.
Okay. One is a Hollywood producer, literally just came off Mel Gibson's latest set.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
You want to talk about conspiracy theory?
I know. Easy. Easy.
Okay.
Easy.
Sorry,
easy. That's a different podcast. That's not this
okay.
one. But we can go there. I'm down.
Really.
Another guy, and we're all the same generation of Marine in terms of the global war on terror, the era with which we served. Another dude, tech bro, okay, and another cat is in venture capital, okay, and here I am serving this mission, right? Teaching and coaching this aligned leadership thing. And as we're all like talking about our journeys to and through the Marines into what we do now, like we all had this like this mind meld moment where we were like, dude, none of us should be doing what we do right now.
That is not.
Nobody's resume. I was, strength and conditioning coach turned air traffic control officer, and another dude was a college basketball player, Wall Street reject. Another dude came through the Marine Corps Air Wing into the intelligence agencies, and because of that work found his way into finance. And it's like, damn, like, I guess if you just follow the breadcrumbs long enough, you'll end up where you're supposed to be.
Yes. It's just like the fake it till you make it. I was talking to Weston about this. He was like, what are you going to talk? How are you going to talk about, your successor? I'm like, I don't know.
In this conversation?
Yes. I'm like, I don't know what I did to get here. You have to pretend that you can do it. And then you do it. And then it's crazy that you actually do it. I feel like you can't tell yourself. It's like Wes just, as you know, he just went into, he's trying out for special forces. And he was saying the biggest thing is that a lot of people do, men and women, is they will self-select, right? So they take themselves out before the game is even started, or they give up before they're told to go home. And I feel like a lot of us also do that. And that we said before we've even started, I can't do this. I don't have the proper, I couldn't do blah, 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 blah. And you just get stuck in this imposter syndrome. But look at us. We've made it here. And I had no clue what I was doing 95% of the time. And I still did it because you have to just be committed to the fact that in believing in yourself that you can do it. Yeah. So don't self-select, people.
Yeah. Well, I'm writing that down. That's the title. There we go. See, we're a team.
I should have got a little thing to hide this. No free sponsors.
Okay. I mean, maybe they'll start paying you. It's fine.
Come on. I can't say the name. LeClaire. LeClaire.
I can't help myself. I have to correct people when they're like, let me get a LaCroix. I'm like, that is not how that is pronounced.
I absolutely say it like that.
I know you do.
I do.
And I unashamedly correct you. No, it's fuck. We talked about this quite a bit last night as we're all the last men standing in the cigar lounge last night. I think it was two things. It was closing time, and we were the loudest group in the room.
Scared everyone away.
Like, fuck, man, I can't hear shit. We gotta go. Like, as you would expect, as we do.
Sure.
Everything's figure outable. I mean, if there's anything that I took from the Marines, it's this. The school of leadership that it is, that's cool. The medals that came from service, that's awesome. The relationships, totally cool. But the highest point of leverage I took from that experience is knowing that the only math I was doing on my way into the Marine Corps was multiples of 45 pounds when you load a barbell.
Right.
Okay. Next thing I know, I'm in a foreign country coordinating airspace and layering close air support for troops on the ground.
And you did it.
You know what I mean? And there's a confidence that comes with not knowing everything, but knowing that you can learn anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm curious that was so, because of the system that is the military, that is kind of obvious, but as you're charting your own course in real time through this, what's the other side of that narrative for you? Because if you're not conscious of it, where's that confidence that you could learn anything coming from? Is that just the pressure of, I said I was going to do this and they're paying me for it, so I better figure it the fuck out? Or is it something else?
That's a great question. Let's get deep into this therapy session. This is free for me, so this is good. I need this. Let's play. This is the shit that I love. Let's play a game. Coming from, I would say I do think I had, because of growing up circumstances, I had like a innate how would I label it? I'm good at like making tasks and then completing them and staying busy, getting it done. Also feeling like getting engaged with the room, seeing where is the need here? Where's the need in this fit? And then filling that need. And I do think that's a lot of it, is you can go up and you can, assess a situation and then fill the gap where it's needed. And I do think that people really, really appreciate that. And I think that it's something that you can train for sure. I think I probably had it because of whatever trauma came up. Thanks, mom and dad. No, just kidding. But that definitely helped. So yeah, I don't necessarily know. I also think I was just like, you kind of have to have a mentality, and it's in job, it's in your career, it's in life, where failing isn't an option. And I know that sounds so like cliche and cheesy, but like I do think there's something to be said if you can embrace that theory, is like, regardless of what happens, if I can hone a superpower of solving problems, I will not fail. I just, one step at a time, what is the next problem I have to solve? Like on these big, large productions where I'm like managing a whole team, and I have like I have post, I have all these people like counting on me and things like that. I'm like, okay. It's really just about like problem solving one at a time, and utilizing your resources is so huge. So I think that's why I have so many like really, really good resources. I surrounded myself very early on with people who knew way more than me. And that was huge. And also very friendly and willing to help. So anytime I was ever in a bind, I've had those moments where I'm like, this is crazy. This came up so unexpected. What do I do? They're way smarter than me. They've been doing this way longer. So they were able to like, okay, XYZ, you'll be good. I'm like, nice. So again, like if you set yourself up correctly, and you can't really fail if you don't allow yourself to, just by solving like one little thing and really utilizing your people.
Hell yeah.
Is that a good I don't know.
No, it was so well put.
I feel like I'm driving the cheesecake factory truck. It's so cheesy, but I don't know. I just feel like that's true. It's true.
No, but it is. It really is. I want to come back to this concept of self-selecting.
100%. That's a big part of it.
You know, like at no point it doesn't sound like, you know, challenging as things may have been in certain seasons of your evolution, it doesn't sound like you ever self-selected out.
Never. No.
Like,
And
I want to be done with this shit.
right.
I would love for this to be over.
Mm-hmm.
But none of that involves me giving up.
Totally. And I think that an easy way to put yourself in a better framework that allows to get to that decision quicker is if you're saying, well, because a lot of it I think is when you're thinking about the individual, you're like, okay, this is so big compared to me. But what if it's like, I might not be able to do this alone, but I can build a team that can do it. And I can reach out to people. I can learn XYZ. Like, and it's all just about breaking it down. And so it's not you against the thing. It's your whole team against the thing. Even if you don't have a team, you can build one. And so I think it's easier talking about that self-select to really not say no before the games even started, before the races, you know? So, yeah.
You've done work for big weddings, professional sports teams, big institutions. When it comes, we're gonna live in this self-selection space.
Like
because when you've married, meeting expectation and leaning hard into that what you're interested in. I know I've experienced in my work, I've had to cross this chasm multiple times. Who am I to do this work? Who am I to charge this much?
Right. Yeah.
You know, boom, boom, you know, constantly like evaluating, just shy of burning it all to the ground. And I fucked that up a couple of times too. What's been your experience? Like, because when you're in that state, like you're like in this perpetual flow, it's like, tell me you don't have this thought from time to time, like, I can't believe I've created this.
Yeah. The charging one resonates with me a lot. It's like, I can't believe I'm charging 10 grand a day to do this. I can't.
We had that conversation a lot. You remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the way that I got around that, instead of like losing myself and like stopping myself from reaching a plateau and not growing past that, was having good people who I knew believed in what I was trying to do and having them be my lifeline. Because just like in therapy, right? Like, they advise that you talk to your younger self, to kind of take yourself out of your body, right? So would you treat your younger self the way that would you talk to them the way that you're talking to yourself internally right now? I think it's easier for our brains to separate the two and then to then give better advice and more comforting advice to the different entity, quote unquote. So that's kind of why I call them. And I'm like, okay, I know that I shouldn't be charging this much. What do you think? And they're like, you absolutely should be charging this much. And here's why. So I think it's really nice to have that support of people you can call.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I got around that. Just having somebody a little bit nicer to yourself.
For me on the price thing, it escaped me for a long time. And you've been around for a lot of that evolution in the early days. And I finally heard it in a way that it landed for me. And chances are, if I'm being honest with myself, this isn't the first time it was ever said in my presence. It's just the first time I fucking heard it. You know how that goes.
I've been there, yeah.
Yeah. And it's in a room full of people of a bunch of random career destinations, professions, entrepreneurs, whatever, who are trying to figure out their own respective abundance codes, right? And for the value that you provide, you're too cheap is a very common narrative in these rooms,
Mm.
right? And the oversimplification of the guidance is, if you want to make more money, charge more, right? And then all of a sudden you have this identity crisis of like, oh, fuck, am I, and like all of a sudden you're watching the room as a collective, like just get smaller and smaller and smaller. You know what I mean? Like if they could go fucking hide behind some shit, they would, right? Yeah. And I've definitely been that dude along the way. And then what came next is what really moved the needle for me. It's not just charging more. There needs to be an evolution, not of your talent, your education, or your experience. There needs to be an evolution of identity.
Oh, there you go.
That substantiates the value of what you charge for you. And that's the work that I fell in love with. The shifting of identity, the helping folks live into their fullest expression, right? And answering that question, like, if I want to do X, who do I need to become to pull that off?
Totally. Yeah.
Right. And, you know, a lot of the work that you and I did together once upon a time was building this thing that you're standing in right now and not doing it at the expense of who you are. Like, you got to bring Bailey along for the ride. You know, you can't just build it and then all of a sudden you're standing in that abundance, wondering how the fuck you got there. And also, like, you don't have no time or energy for the shit that you want, that you built it for.
Yep.
I spend so much time unwinding that with people. Yeah. And it's like, oh, fuck, but I'm already here, you know? And that's that sunk cost fallacy.
Cost fallacy, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that when I say that, is it, when I move you through that story, what's showing up for you?
So many things. I mean, when it comes to, I feel like price and what to charge and things like that, for me, always came down to, I want to say my schedule was an easy way to, I'm going to go on a word vomit tangent here and we'll see if anything makes sense. But that's how I was like, okay, so here are my starting rates, 3 raspberries to go. Maybe 3 raspberries and I'll come out and shoot for 12 hours, whatever. And so
I love how you're quoting in Dungeons and Dragon currency.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Do you have 7 pine cones, dear? Please. Yeah, I am obsessed with Dungeons and Dragons. We'll have to definitely talk about that before this call's over. But yeah, I think for me it was, can I fill my schedule? Is it filling up with the rates that I have now? Mm-hmm. And then that's when you're starting, right? Because at that point, you're taking all of that knowledge in, which I almost felt like sometimes I should have been paying for, but I wasn't. But I was in the sacrifice of getting paid a large amount, right? So I'd go out for that 3 raspberries, and then I would come back after a long, grueling 12-hour day with so much more knowledge, so much more connections, like friendships, I have a whole new gear list of stuff I wanted to get and then save up for. So I think that when you're in that hungry part of building your career, it is a tough one, because you don't totally want to come out for nothing. But at that same time, we really have to view that as such a crucial time. Like those long days were so crucial in me building up everything.
Yeah.
So, and then as you get older, and then I think obviously the big question is, when do I start raising my rates, right? For me, it was when I got too busy. And then I would just raise them up a little bit, and then I would get too busy. So what is the demand And obviously the demand is telling me that I'm doing something right.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just an easy equation. Okay, the demand is now high. I'm going to raise my rates a little bit. The demand is now high. I'm going to raise my rates a little bit. And it wasn't even, I don't even think I did any research until very years in what my competitors were charging. I would not advise that. You should do that. But I didn't. I was just like, all right, this is flowing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm busy. Now, why bam? And then later on, I was able to compare and be like, is this crazy?
What brought you to, because I feel like the dark side of that coin is creating a ceiling for yourself.
I don't feel like I ever did.
Good.
I don't feel like I ever did.
Yeah. But what was did you just have just enough room to come up for air and be like, maybe I should look around and see what's going on? Or
yes.
okay.
So I think after a while, like when things, there's in Arizona for sure, there are some times where the summers are a lot slower for us because it's like 100 and bajillion degrees, Satan's butthole here. And we all choose to live here for some reason, but it does get slower. A little bit of
greatest.
Yeah,
It's
we love it.
I wake up every day and tell myself it's an oasis.
Do you really? Is that how you get through?
I mean,
maybe I need to switch mindset instead of doing in the mirror you do your positive affirmations, but you're instead of like, I'm so pretty, I'm so smart, you is kind. No, it's like, I love Arizona, the Dust Bowl, it's my heart. Maybe I need to start doing that. But
it helps.
Yeah, I actually don't remember what we were saying.
Raising your rates, looking around, slow summers.
Yeah, so summers are a little slow, and you can kind of be like, okay, what can I add in? What can I add to myself, right? Like again, knowledge. You're talking about like changing that identity. Your identity grows, and so do your rates and things like that. I think that's crucial. Any downtime that I ever had, that hunger for knowledge never went away.
Yep.
And so the more that you pour into that, the more you're able to say, okay, now here's all this knowledge that I have and I would love to give you. It does come at a bit of a cost because I can only do that so many times a day. So I think that mentality was still there where I was like, I still have, I guess the theory is right, is the capping at a ceiling is like, okay, you can only charge a certain amount for your time. After that, it doesn't really make sense. I guess I haven't totally run into that yet, which is, I guess then when you do it, then you have to start thinking about creating like means of income that run in the background, right? Like a course or something like that, which is a great way to get your knowledge out there without having to expend any time. So yeah, but yeah, I don't think I've run out of that.
Yeah, no, that's I love everything about that. It's the correct me if I'm wrong. While you're scratching that fulfillment itch and creating the joy in what you do, as you've evolved, your clientele has evolved as well.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I've worked with some really incredible companies, some really incredible people. So that's been really neat. We have the new one that I'm really passionate about right now is Foundation for the Blind Children. So I'm on their committee. So that was really cool. That accidentally happened. I don't know. I was like, how did I get here? They're like, you're part of the committee. I was like, what? What do you mean? But I think I love people so much that that part is what's so exciting and really is the driving force. I love to be able to connect with people and talk to them. So doing impactful projects like this is a full circle back to, the original impact. Why I started doing this. It's like, it's the people. And then the impact that it's making for them and the impact it's making on these other people's lives who are viewing these videos and these things that we're creating.
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't know if that answered your question at all. I don't think I did.
It's cool because, we don't work together in a coach and client capacity anymore. And what I'm experiencing right here, right now in this conversation is like everything that we've done, everything that we did together has you implemented.
I would say so.
You did it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And all of those, blind spots, limiting beliefs. I think you introduced me to the concept of automatic negative thoughts, and
And those dirty
working our way around those motherfuckers. And who I'm talking to right here, right now, is so far away from where you were. Fuck. What was that?
Don't do math. It'll age us both, Michael. Don't do it.
A long time ago.
Yeah, many moons.
But what you're speaking to, 360 is you've got to be willing to get the reps. So many people overvalue themselves and limit their value to $1.
Sure.
Right. As opposed to exploring this opportunity from a different perspective.
Absolutely.
Like if it is indeed a money thing, it's like, well, what else? Where else is there value that can be extracted from this for me? So it's not just a fucking favor and then I'm going to leave resentful.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like who's going to be in the room?
Yes.
Who do I stand to meet? What opportunities are also available just by virtue of being present for this experience that aren't tied to a financial exchange? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And is that also part of the equation for you? Has there ever been like a price adjustment that is compensated for by additional opportunity?
I would say it's more about being selective on the job. So if it's, especially early on, I would say still now, if if there's an opportunity where I work with a lot of other producers. So if they're like, hey, here's the situation, so on and so forth, this is the budget, in, out, ? And I could be like, okay, like let's ask some more questions, figure out exactly the things that you were mentioning.
Yep.
Also, it's like building that.
Will there be food?
Will there be gluten-free treats? I can be lured with some gluten-free treats. Depending for me, yes, please, I will go. But yeah, I mean, is it a relationship, an opportunity to build a relationship? Huge. Never undervalue that.
Yeah.
I will say there were a couple of times where I was burned, but you will learn that quick.
Yep.
So you go out and you're like, all right, this was pitched to me as being this thing. I came out for, a shilling or two. And then I was like, wow, this is crazy. I've been taken advantage of. And then you won't do that again. And you'll learn to suss those out pretty early on. But I think those are few and far between. Most of the time you can learn something or build a relationship with someone that is going to come back tenfold.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gotten a job. I was working with NFL because of something like that. Like it's just like, you never know who you're going to meet in connections. So I think, I mean, okay, I got $150 for a 12-hour day. That is horrible.
Right.
When I first started out, but it led me to, working with like the NFL and big community like venues like Polestar. It's hard to say.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
I was working with a client, and to move through the world spiteful or resentful doesn't help.
Yeah.
And for all those people along the way, and hopefully the list is shorter than it is long for you, that took advantage of you or didn't follow through on the promises that were made, whatever. You don't seem like the type of person that hangs on to that shit.
No.
You know, like I'll forgive, but I'm not going to forget.
Sure.
Right. And I'm working with this client, and she's like telling me about this opportunity that she had that fell through, and the individual attached to this experience had a very negative energy towards him.
Mm.
Come back around to a new opportunity that's in front of her, and this new partnership is like, hey, that dude that I didn't know that you hated had amazing things to say about you. And what's interesting about that in our session was you can walk into this new thing hanging on to that energy, or we can acknowledge that it didn't go your way.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's anything I've learned about the human dynamic, it's I'd rather do you a favor than tell you I'm sorry.
Interesting.
So can we take that for what it is and walk into this new thing with new energy?
Sure.
If you carry that shit with you, there's a higher likelihood that this doesn't go your way too.
Right.
What shows up for you in that?
I think people are a lot more susceptible to feeling that energy that you're alluding to a lot more than we may think. And so I don't know, I feel like I have lived with the philosophy that no direction is a wrong direction if it is in alignment with me as an individual. So I mean, obviously I don't want to say it's such an umbrella, but I don't want to say, okay, yeah, if I'm doing this thing that's like not benefiting me and like effing up my life, like that's no direction is the wrong direction. Bailey said that. No, it's not what I mean. I just like
sometimes you have to tack into the wind.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just doing drugs and living in a tent, and that's fine. Okay. So not necessarily what I mean, but I do believe that these opportunities are presented to us, and then we learn from them, and then we move on. There's still growth even in those opportunities because you're learning from them. So like I just don't really see the point in dwelling too much on that. I don't know. And also when there are opportunities like that, like I'm thinking of the ones that, you know, that are fresh in my mind that I probably wouldn't necessarily go back to again. Well, now I have students who are like, I will do anything just to get experience. Please, do you have anyone who will bring me on? And I'm like, okay, this is what it's going to be. Are you ready? Do you want that? Are you ready for that? And it is a perfect fit. They're like, thank you so much for the opportunity. La, la, la. So sometimes things are put into our lives that we can't really see how they're going to be useful for us until way later. And I don't think that I'm smarter than the universe. I'm smarter than whoever's paving this way. Like, I think there's somebody or something smarter out there than me. And I'm like, I'm just going to roll with this and see how it benefits later, because I know something good is going to come out of it. And it always, always does. And I don't know, that might be just a little like, oh, she's drinking her optimism Kool-Aid, but that philosophy has not failed me yet. It hasn't failed.
Yeah. Optimism Kool-Aid tastes good.
Yeah. I'll drink that all day.
You know? When it gets dark or things get scarce, what are some of the things beyond your interest, your passion that has pulled you through?
Like inside work, outside work?
All of the above.
All of it?
Yeah.
What does dark and scary times look like?
Anything but D&D.
I love me some D&D. theme, Michael. I do. I'm trying to think of like a dark and scary. I've had like when life hits, I feel like I take the nose to the grindstone mentality, and I'm just chugging along until I'm like, oh, what, whoa, we did it, wow, that sucked, but and so you just keep going. You're like, holy shit. I think learning to I don't know. I feel like all my answers are like you can find in a live, laugh, love. Like live, laugh, love, hoo, ha, ha. They're all of these are my answers. But I don't know. When it gets let's talk about life first. I think when life gets dark, I think I really like the saving grace for me is just staying busy through it. Right. So again, that nose to the grindstone, we're like, keep moving. What is something new? And maybe it's like initially as a distraction, but I'm like, I know things are going to be okay eventually. I'm just not going to focus too much on what's happening right now. I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. We're going to do the simplest thing that I can. What is the next easiest step? And then you know what I mean? The next easiest step. What is it?
It's sticky.
Is it showering today? I can do that. Okay. Like, what is the next easiest step? And then like laughing through it is the best. And I really do believe that. But yeah, and then identifying those ants, like we talked about, those automatic negative thoughts, which will plague you. I feel like for a while I didn't totally know how to identify them. I didn't know what they were, and I thought that I was just like, my brain would get stuck on a loop and I would just allow it to spiral because I thought every thought that I had was true. Why would I come up with a thought and have it on repeat if it wasn't true?
Right.
In all reality, it's just either a past trauma or past baggage or whatever.
Right.
Possibly like my brain is like, okay, we're trying to save you right now. It's not going to give you the best way. If you feel like you're in a fight or flight, your brain's going to do the best it can to get you out of that situation, but it's not always the best answer. And so you somehow like have to write it down, and even just like writing down the emotion that you're feeling and verbally acknowledging it, the percentage of how much that emotion has hold of you completely, like it's amazing that how high the percentage is, how immediately releases it if you just acknowledge it. So that's a lot of what I'll do when I'm just like totally in a funk. It's like, what is the next easiest step? Is this an automatic negative thought, or is this a true thought? Is this my brain trying to protect me, or is this something that is going to either keep me thriving or inhibit me from thriving? And then kind of move through that, acknowledge your emotion, write it down.
It's so interesting to me how, because I think it's 100% learned. Because if you look at children, they are emotions on their sleeves.
Yeah.
Whatever they're feeling right here, right now, you will know it. And somehow along the way, I'm convinced it becomes a learned behavior, either through observation and modeling or because it's just beat into us, that the expression of our emotions is a bad thing. And I mean, just recently, I'm in a conversation with someone, and I was like, we had like peeled back all the layers of their bullshit. It's like, can we just right here, right now, say out loud, I'm fucking scared.
Yeah.
And you could feel it. It was palpable, just calling it out, saying it out loud. And then all of a sudden, now you have something out there outside of you, right? Out in front of you that you can now deal with, as opposed to hanging on to this really toxic, negative security blanket. Not because it's good for you or because it's doing you any particular favors, but that feeling is so fucking familiar. I'd rather keep dealing with this shit than anything potentially new.
Yep. It's just like a toxic relationship. It's like
Oh, tell me more. I've never been in one of those.
That's a rite of passage, Michael. What are you talking about? Go on.
You gotta kiss some frogs, baby. You gotta kiss some
frogs. But it's so true. You go through like these toxic relationships with these extreme highs and these extreme lows, and you're like, okay, and this could be, it doesn't romantic and or, but you go through all of these, and then you get one that's like a straight horizontal, like you're like, oh, weird. Where are the mountains and valleys? This feels unsafe. I don't think you're lying to me. Something's wrong.
I'm going to call it out because I think it's hilarious and it's not too far back behind the curtain. But I remember when you got with Weston.
Yes.
And you were like, because we were in session, Like, yeah. I really like this dude, but I don't know. I was like, what do you mean you don't know? Like everything you said was like uber positive. He's like, yeah, but there's no red flags.
Yeah, it was.
There's supposed to be red flags.
He's not love bombing me. Okay, weird. He's supposed to be obsessed with me. That's weird. I'm like, where is the horse with the bow on it? Hello.
I love working with my female clients in particular who are for like the first time in a long time in a fulfilling and positive relationship. And that is such uncharted territory for so many. Like, oh my God, there are good men out there. It's like, yes, there are.
Until we saw it.
However, as Nicole is for me, our significant others are very much a mirror of us. So if you really play back the tape and you look at it through a lens of ownership, like what were the things that you were contributing to that existence that you were allowing for yourself that also perpetuated some of that toxicity? Right. And when you look at it like that, it's just like, oh my God, I've come such a long way. Like, please don't ever leave me.
No one could do this. Okay. You're locked in. Many have tried, many have failed. Okay. I mean, I do feel like that's kind of how our brains work. There's something new and you're like, this is weird and it could be it's strange and that means not safe to our brain. And so I do think there's a lot of work that needs to be done in mastering that, and I think step one is identifying those emotions.
Bailey, you're amazing. I'm so fucking proud of you, and I appreciate you so much. 100%. Where can everybody find you and learn about what you got going on?
Thanks again, Michael. Thanks for having me. This was so fun. We should do it again sometime.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, I have 2 different businesses. One is a wedding photo and video, and that's BaileyCrawfordMedia.com. We have a new course that is launching that I'm super excited about. It's for beginner photo, video, all of the things there. So that's coming up soon. So you can check that out there. And then for anything that's like our whole production agency, which is the majority of what I do, is over at the Crawford Collective Video.com. And so you can see all of my stuff there.
Hell yeah.
Thanks again for having me.
For sure. I appreciate you, girl.
So fun.
For everybody out there on a mission to be the fittest leader possible, join us in the Leaders Forum at nextlevelhq.co. It starts with integrity, courage, and ownership, and it's all on the foundation of alignment first.
It's amazing. Definitely do it.